Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning. Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
It's another sunny December morning.
Yes, it is.
Is it me, or have the sunrises and sunsets been really pretty lately?
Yeah, it should be. It's our winter.
Yeah, right? This morning you sang all these nice blues and oranges and stuff.
Oh.
Really nice drive down this morning.
That's good. That's good. And, you know, I'm sure as the year progresses, all of the, 20-something days we have left, 20 days we have left, it's going to get, you're going to be coming to work while it's dark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the best time, when you wake up and the moon is up.
Yeah, I know, right? But the only thing is that it makes you want to stay in bed longer, right?
Exactly. That was actually sarcasm. Nobody wants to wake up to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, this is the time of year. I got to say, it's been nice and comfortable. The nights are cool.
Yeah.
The days are warm. And we're going to find out if anything's going to be shifting over the next few days. We have Michael Gentle from the Met Service on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
All right. So I'm commenting about how good the weather's been. And we want to find out if it's going to be much of the same today.
Yeah, we can expect much of the same today, but we should see a slight increase in moisture for tomorrow.
All right. Let's get through today first, and then we'll talk about tomorrow.
Okay, we expect it to be mostly sunny today with just a chance of isolated showers developing and partly cloudy tonight with isolated showers, and we have a chance of an isolated thunderstorm developing over the south and coast.
Okay. And the winds?
The winds for today would be from the east at 5 to 15 knots, and sea conditions will be light chop today, becoming choppy tonight.
All right. And those temperatures?
Okay, temperatures will be around 86 along the coast, 90 inland, and 78 in the hills. For the night, 78 along the coast, 72 inland, and 68 in the high elevations.
Okay. Now, you started to tell us that we might be expecting some showers starting tomorrow. What's the extended forecast?
Okay, we'll have some prefrontal activity tomorrow. The cold front will start over the Gulf of Mexico, but we expect moisture to increase over the area, and we can expect some cloudy spells with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms likely for most areas.
Okay. So we're going to get the showers from the cold front and not the passing over itself?
No, the front will start over the Gulf, so winds will back up to the northeast and bring in a bit more moisture.
All right. And we're going to be seeing rain just on Wednesday or beyond that?
Starting, some showers will continue to Thursday, and then we should start to see showers decrease. Back to normal going into the weekend.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for that update.
Okay, you're welcome.
You have a great day today.
Same to you.
All right.
There you have it. So, looks like we're going to be expecting a little bit of moisture.
Yeah.
So, the weather's not going to be as great as it has been for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But still nothing too, worrying or anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a thunderstorm warning. It's just some showers that's going to possibly be in your area. And the more important thing is that by the weekend, it's going to clear up. Because I know a lot of people are going to be running around doing preparations over the weekend. It's a big payday weekend. And, you know, people getting a head start, or I should say catch up with Christmas preparations.
Oh yeah, I can imagine this weekend the stores and the streets and stuff are going to be really hustling and bustling.
Yeah, you will see the real hustle and bustle of Christmas.
Oh yeah.
For sure. All right, but with the weather out of the way, we're going to get moving into a bit of motivation for this morning. And this means, or eye-opener, taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. A surrender box is a tool to help us to let go of our burdens so the universe can take care of them for us. There are times when our minds become too full. Our to-do lists, worries, plans, and dreams may be so crowded together in our heads that we don't have room to think. We may believe that we are somehow taking care of our desires and concerns by keeping them at the forefront of our minds. In maintaining our mental hold on every detail, however, we may actually delay the realization of our dreams and the resolution of our worries because we won't let them go. Surrendering our worries and concerns and placing them in the hands of the universe doesn't mean that we've given up or have been defeated. Instead, we're releasing the realization of our desires and the resolution of our worries, and no longer concerning ourselves with their outcomes. It's always fun to go back and pull the slips of paper out of the box once your requests have been granted. And it's amazing how quickly problems go away and dreams come true when we finally let go and allow a higher power to help us.
That one really gets me thinking. I know because
A surrender box.
I know it's that sort of thing is like almost like counterintuitive to me because because I'm a person who I make a lot of to-do lists and
Yeah.
I do I think like what the message says, like you think that we're addressing it by keeping it in the forefront of your
Yeah.
mind, but it does actually get stressful. So this was like super innovative and something that I probably would never have thought of on my own, because like when you think, I mean, even like if I'm at work and I see like a little thing on my like a paper on my desk, no matter how old it is, I'm scared to throw it away because I might think, well, what if it's something important or I might need to.
Secrets of a hoarder coming
I know,
out.
right? So yeah, I mean, this idea is something great, and it's something that I would definitely consider putting into practice, because I think it would unload a lot of, the stress or the anxiety because of things that when these things do pile up,
Yeah. No, I think we all get in this particular headspace where we're overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And today's society, we're constantly being challenged to multitask in some way or shape. Whether it's responding to phones and emails and messages and people and, planning ahead for your family and planning ahead for your future and all these other things that take place. And, they're all priorities, they're competing priorities, and it can be so overwhelming. I have times where, and I always remember reading this, I can't remember exactly where, but it was an article talking about sometimes you're busy, but you're not productive. And that's the key thing. You could be doing a lot of things, but really making no progress. And I feel that that's where this could really help. Sometimes it's not necessarily letting go and saying, I won't deal with this, but perhaps it's just not something that I need to address at this very moment. Or it's just going to frustrate me that I can't even dedicate myself to everything else. As employees, as people who we don't function in isolation, and sometimes people are dependent on us. But the point is that's kind of the functionality I think that would work best for you to be individually productive and not to have that, full mind, that overwhelmed mind.
And I think when they talk about letting the universe take care of things, I think we also have to bear in mind that there are some things that are just beyond our control.
That's right.
That it may be very extremely worrying to us, but there's really not much that we can do about them.
Yeah.
So whether it's something that's going to happen in the future, or it's just something that that gives you some sort of concern or that makes you anxious, you may not be able to do about it. So if you do something like write it down and then put it in the box, or just let it go and say, well, I'm just going to let the universe take care of that one.
Yeah.
Can be super useful too, and again help alleviate a lot of your worry that you might be going through.
Yeah, something to consider, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our morning motivation for today. And we got a show to move into. We got some Christmas programming coming up. But before we do, there's quite a bit that was happening. We chat yesterday about Gimme 5 and all the fun we had there. Yesterday, everyone came for their prizes, and it was just really great to see people taking them home. But there was also something else that was happening this weekend. That was the Miss Universe pageant.
I know. I was watching.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it, yeah. And I was quite happy to see that South Africa won just because of the message that she was sending.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but of course, you know, we were watching our very own Miss Belize, Destiny Arnold up there competing.
Yeah.
So that was also interesting. It's always great to see somebody out there representing you on an international stage.
Absolutely.
Did you see it too?
I watched up to the top 20 and then I changed the channel. Yeah. So clearly I'm not adequately prepared to talk about the pageant, but I did catch up on some of South Africa's answers this on Monday. And so, you know, clearly she has a great passion and a wonderful message. I think it's so great to hear that coming out of, you know, Miss Universe. It's just because I didn't watch it doesn't mean I don't recognize that it is a big deal. I think it's also, it's critical for us to recognize that there's a lot of people in this country who invest a lot of time and energy into supporting our queens when they reach to the stage. And, you know, with all the support also comes some criticisms. And it's interesting that at this time we start hearing something that I feel that gets dragged into every aspect of competition when we have representation of people who weren't necessarily born in Belize. And that's been part of the criticism hurled at our Miss Belize, Destiny Arnold, that she was not born in Belize and perhaps should not have represented us. So that's the question we wanted to field to our viewers today. What are your thoughts on this? You know, should Miss Belize be a Belizean-born young lady, or should she be or can she be of Belizean heritage?
Yeah, I think that's a super thought-provoking question, and as you say, it does come up every time, you know, when we're doing sort of the post-mortem of you know, an event or something international. I think that for a pageant, because it's, I suppose the representation is based on the idea that this individual is representing the country, and you know, it has the responsibility to, like, you know, really show the culture, and you know, represent the, you know, the experiences of the people.
Yeah.
So it's different from like a sporting event when it's just like, you know, this person's talent or this person, or you know, the people doing things in a different way. So I think that there's definitely like a valid case then can be made for saying that, oh well, the person should be from here and should be growing up here because that's what they're out there to represent. But at the same time, you know, we have a lot of people in the diaspora who have whose, you know, families have instilled the culture very strongly in them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what do you think?
So you're in court. Which side are you defending?
Well,
Belizean born or Belizean heritage?
I have not been retained by either side, so I don't
It's a
have
tough
to.
call.
It is a tough call for me, but I would probably tend towards lean towards the representative, you know, being from the country.
Okay.
But I think that's just, you know,
It can
again,
go either way. So I have many thoughts about this.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's interesting that this conversation comes up. And it seems to be more divisive when the person who's representing us, who perhaps was not born in Belize, hasn't been successful. Because we celebrate people who are successful with Belizean heritage.
For sure.
Marion Jones is a great example. Simone Biles, who has a close connection to Belize, is also celebrated. We love them because they have a connection to who we are. But if someone has not been able to attain success in some way, then we start saying, well, maybe they should have been born in Belize. So I think that's a bit disingenuous, and I think we're not necessarily being fair across the board on this issue. But the truth is, you know, I mean, because had Destiny placed or won, you know, I don't think we'd be having this argument.
I don't think so either.
So that's where I am with it. I think at this point in time, where we're such a young country, we know that we don't have the foundation programs for just about any international competition. We're talking sports, we're talking theater, dance, singing, pageantry. We don't have little babies growing up learning from accomplished people on how to be best in this particular field. And so in the meantime, I think people who have Belizean heritage, people who sometimes I think are more attentive to what's happening back home than people who live here, I have no problem with them representing us. And I think as long as it's always an equal playing field. In other words, if a young lady who's born in Belize wants to compete on the local pageant level, along with a young lady who's of Belizean heritage from Chicago, that's fine with me. And they have an equal competition in the local pageant. But so that's where I am. I'm fine with Belizean heritage.
I mean,
So-
yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think the difficulty is also in kind of what you're saying, in that where people from abroad may have greater access to resources, so it kind of boxes out people who
Yeah.
are, who may be from, from Belize or whatever.
True.
So it does, it begs the question of how fair then is the competition. But I mean, at the end of the day, what goes back to your original point is that, we've not seen that success since I think the 1970s.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And the competition back then was so different.
yeah, so it's really hard to say. I think that if somebody has, if somebody has a greater chance then to actually compete alongside, people from, your Miss Venezuelas and your Miss Thailand and Philippines and the ones who always get it, then. And Belize has a chance, or somebody who's going to represent Belize then has a chance. Then I, of course, share your view.
Yeah.
But then it becomes a question of, well, are they really representing Belize? Are they doing this, or is it just part of the whole pageant mold?
Well, they can only wear one sash across their chest,
Yeah.
one country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's always going to be up. We've heard, as I said, we've heard this with sports. We've heard this with even beyond that, representation in politics. We've heard this being a continuous, and it's not unique to Belize, strangely enough. But that's where I stand with the pageant thing. And I want to hear your thoughts. What do you feel about it? Do you feel that we're just making ado about nothing? Is this a valid issue? Are you more inclined to someone who's been born and raised in Belize? Are you open to women with Belizean heritage? Weigh in and let's see where your thoughts are. All right, so that's our morning tea for today. And now shifting gears to getting into our show for today.
Sure. We have a pretty exciting show.
Yeah.
So for our first conversation, we are recognizing that it is World Human Rights Day. So
Yeah.
we are going to be talking with representatives from the UN who are going to be speaking about the Human Development Report that was published for 2019. So, and they're also going to be talking about the results in the context of Belize. So that's going to be a really interesting conversation.
Okay. And the second part, I got to see how this is going to happen, right? So we all love Rompopo.
Of course.
And there's been a lot of health shifts taking place, even in Belize, where people are moving towards vegetarian and veganism. And so we have someone coming in who's going to be making a vegan edition of Rompopo.
I know, right? When I saw that, I was thinking, isn't that just rum?
I know, because Rompopo is eggs,
Eggs and milk, yeah.
We're gonna see. We're very open to this one.
Right.
So, especially if you are on a vegan journey, or perhaps you just want to not have animal products in your drink. You're going to find out how to make it in the second part of our show. We're going to have Kojak Smith from Kojak's Sumptuous Rompopo joining us to tell us about that.
And if Rompopo is not your thing and you want to maybe give something as a nice gift, we are going to be joined by Courts Belize for our last segment, and they're going to be talking about some fun gift ideas that they have available that you might be considering if you still have a lot of Christmas shopping to catch up on.
Here you go. You haven't made it out to the stores yet. We're bringing the information to you so you can get in, get out, and get those gifts as quickly as you can. That's our lineup for this morning. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking with representatives about, from UNDP about the Human Development Report. Please stay tuned.
With over 100 years of service
don't drive. Don't drive.
And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. It is World Human Rights Day, and we are joined by representatives from the United Nations Development Program. And we are discussing the Human Development Report for 2019. Joining us this morning is Ian King, who is the Deputy Resident Representatives from the UNDP Belize, and Diane Wade-Moore, who is a Program Analyst from the UNDP Belize as well. Thank you for joining us, and good morning.
Good morning.
So, perhaps we can start our conversation by letting our viewers get a little bit of background information on what exactly the Human Development Report is and what sort of information it discusses.
Thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to discuss the 2019 Human Development Report. This report has been developed since 1990 by UNDP. And fundamentally, it says when we think about human development, we can't simply conceive it as a simple economic factor. For example, per capita GDP. There are very many facets to human development. And essentially, the Human Development Index, or HDI, and I'll try to remember not to just use our usual lingo, but the HDI speaks to three facets of human development. One is long life, one is knowledge, so income, knowledge, and which is education, and health. And so it tries to capture those three facets in terms of this indicator, so you know people quite often look to see where is the rank of the country in terms of very high, medium, and low development. And in addition to this, other indicators came along. So in addition to the Human Development Index, there's the Inequality Human Development Index, IHDI, recognizing that even as you have high levels of human development, there may be high levels of inequality in your societies.
Yeah.
Two more, if you don't mind me saying. The Gender Development Index, which is a ratio of female to male, HDI, and the GII, the Gender Inequality Index, which speaks to other aspects of inequality in gender. And so those basically facets comprise the Human Development Report.
Now, this is a very important indicator in terms of looking at the country and how we fit into the rest of the world.
Sure.
And my question is, how do you gather the data? How does one go about measuring how humans in Belize are progressing or not progressing?
We use standard indicators are utilized. So the indicators that Ian suggested are composite indicators. So what that means is that you have a lot of base indicators that come together to tell one story, the composite story.
Okay.
In the case of health, we rely on information, national information on very basic things, maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate. So this is information that is already covered and captured at a country level.
Yeah.
So this information is then fed within the system, and then you get the larger composites.
Yeah.
So from a UN standpoint, we have, of course, we utilize the national sources of information. The information coming out of the Statistical Institute of Belize, out of the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Education. But you'd also, from time to time, you also need to use proxies, because there may be some things that are not measured directly here.
Yeah.
And so those things are then picked up through other extended research or measurements in country.
How do you validate the data coming out from the different ministries?
Well, data validation in Belize is relatively simple. As I recall, the only official statistics coming out of Belize essentially is validated through the Statistical Institute of Belize. And so that is a measure of validation for us.
Yeah.
And so we look, our first place to go is to the data coming out of the National Statistical Institute of Belize.
Okay.
This is actually a challenge as you look at issues like human development, because the consistent collection of data, rigorous collection of data, is a challenge globally, as you would expect, particularly in countries which are, lower down in terms of the development context, because it is a demanding and expensive exercise, but it is critical if you're going to determine how you're going to move forward. You have to measure where you are. So the old adage about if you're going to manage it, you have to measure it. If you're going to set goals, you have to know where you are.
Yeah, and we'd love to know that decisions and policies are being made based on data that is already provided. If we know there's a gap in women's participation or empowerment for women, then as can be indicated in a report like this, then you know it can be a priority area for spending. And that's kind of where I wanted to jumpstart. There are a lot of different areas, as you pointed out, that the report has been able to show that Belize has made progress. But yet, when you split it to the IHDI, the Inequality Human Development Index, it shows a different picture. Can you talk to me a bit about that dynamic?
Sure. Well, first of all, to say this year's report has a title, Beyond Income, Beyond Averages, and Beyond Today, Inequalities in Human Development for the 21st Century. And the whole context of that is when we think about inequalities, yes, income is a critical aspect, but access to particular services, health, education, and so on is also vital. When we think about averages, one of the challenges is finding that average, and there's no one specific metric that one can say this is the average. And beyond today, because the issues, traditionally we looked at where we are and where we were, but looking forward, particularly with issues that, as we were talking off camera, issues related to climate change, as well as technology, drive those types of, those inequalities going forward. So what this report has done or shown has fixed around 5 general findings. And one is to say, first of all, there has been tremendous advancement in addressing the very basic needs and critical aspects, and Diane mentioned infant mortality and so on. But what it's also saying is that other disparities, other areas, there's still growing disparities in that, in basic areas. Secondly, there are new aspects of inequality growing. So as we progress in society, we think about access to education, but then we see a very interesting statistic between the difference between, for example, low-income countries and very high-income countries. When you look at persons born in the year 2000, in high-income countries, over 50% of those persons are going to go on to higher education. In low-income countries, that figure is 3%. In addition, in low-income countries, 17% of those persons will not make it to their 19th birthday, whereas in high-income countries, that's 1%. So the range of disparities to see that. So that's another major finding as it pertains to this. The other aspects are there's an accumulation of inequality. So as you would expect, child that is born into a wealthy or a very comfortable circumstance has access to health, education. Even before they're born, they already have an advantage to a child that is born into a less advantageous circumstance. Very quickly, the last 2 key findings. One is that we need new metrics. The old metrics that we use to assess development, we need to advance those. And finally, and perhaps, I'm not going to say more controversially, but in some ways politically, it is saying that we need to act now to avoid the advantages economically to find themselves reinforced in political advantages, so that essentially going forward, we would not be able to address those kinds of issues. So those are the 5 broad findings that we see in this report.
Now, if you were to paint the picture this morning for viewers as to what this report is saying about where we are, how would you describe it?
I think, and I'll let Diane follow from me, but I think it would say that Belize is a high, in the high Development Group, towards the bottom end of that. It has shown real and genuine progress over the years, as you will see, I think in some of the information we have shared with you.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to see in terms of what has been achieved in this country. Clearly, I think you pointed it to the Inequality Human Development Index and the GDI. There are areas where Belize needs to address.
Yeah.
So compared to other countries, say compared to Jamaica, compared to Bahamas, compared to Latin America and the Caribbean, the comparison between the HDI and the IHDI, there's maybe a drop of 22 or so percent in Belize, maybe about 17% in Jamaica, and similar amount, 22% in Latin America as a whole. So on par for Latin America. So what it shows is that there are challenges that you have to look at in this country, and clearly this is defined in fundamentally how we're going to realize the sustainable development goals in this country. There's been genuine progress, but there are areas that we need to look at. Maybe Diane, you want to expand a bit on that?
Because as Ian indicated, if you follow our Human Development Index over the years, from the 1990s to where it is, Belize have progressed consistently with what we consider the basic capabilities or the basic capacities or basic measurements of health. We have made tremendous, when we look at our maternity, our maternal, the mortality rates and infant mortality rates, you will start to see those things thin out and as the country stabilizes around that. And so within the last 10 years or so, we have moved or advanced in terms of our categorization from a medium development country to now a high development country. When you now disaggregate that information, you start to see some interesting things. For the most part, if we look at life expectancy and the number of years in school and things, we will start, you see male and females just about par. Just a few point difference between those two.
Yeah.
When you reach something like a gross national income, so while we have, and in certain cases, young ladies spending more years in school and things, when you reach that portion, you have the female measure of being about 6,000 USD per annum to the male measure then being 10,000. So certain areas you see the great discrepancies. So while
what you've done, just to simplify there, is validate exactly. Actually, it's been a global conversation about equal pay for men and women. And what you're saying is the data, when you dive down into male versus female, is showing that while women are going further in school than men, they're still earning less. In Belize, we're not talking in the US.
Significantly less.
Significantly, because the numbers you quoted was what?
It's just about 6,000 USD on average versus 10,000 USD on average on the other end. So, but as I indicate, so while as we look at our human development advances, and there has been advances, as I said, many things in terms of the basic measurements have improved. The other thing that we need to pay attention to, and it is the other measures now of inequalities that are coming into place. Some of the things that you are seeing is, while we've done good on the basic measurements as a country, we now need to step back and look at these enhanced capabilities. Every Belizean now has a cell phone. That's a wonderful thing. As we are moving into the more technological savvy type future, and we're looking into that, you start to see then that basic internet and connectivity is now the new goal to move people towards that. So we continue to have a society where income does play a great role in determining where you are and where you are, where you're going in life. So we can't discount the income inequalities because it tends to shape everything else. And we continue to see, and advances have been made, so we don't want to say none. But political participation in terms of female continues to be a low thing. Although,
And even employment.
in employment, yes. If you, the Statistical Institute of Belize sent out their labor force survey for September, and you will see that female underemployment is up, female unemployment is up. So you continue to have that divide within the numbers, which I think feeds back to the whole idea of looking beyond averages. If we continue to make policies based on averages, the problem is you cut off the extremes. And so we make policies that don't really work for the people that need it most.
So you triggered quite a few questions in my mind, but I wanna go back to something, because when information like this report comes out, people, there's a certain sector, mostly those who are involved in government and politically inclined, who use it perhaps maliciously to talk about what the administration is doing of today. And I wanted to dive in on that just so that no one who has a party affiliation dismisses or blows up what we're hearing. This is something that happens over time, right? What the data shows. So even the progress that takes place from 1990 to 2018, a life expectancy that's increased from 70 to 74, schooling that's gone from 10 years, I think, to 13 years, somewhere along. So we're seeing progress. And the same way where we see the weaknesses, like the pay gap or unemployment, these are also things that perhaps have taken place over years and has grown or not been addressed. Is that an accurate representation of what the 2018 report says?
I think one of the things it's saying, and I think a lot of what you said is correct, but what it's also saying is that the approaches we've made and taken, we've seen genuine progress. So we know that we've seen progress around the world and certainly in Belize. But what it's also saying is that the issues are really very complex, and we cannot assume that those simple steps are going to be enough. And an interesting exercise is even if you look at income distribution or redistribution, that by and of itself would not address the issues of inequality. You have to look at addressing issues of, of availability of education and quality of education and health beforehand. You have to look at maybe issues in the marketplace, be it setting minimum wage or other areas. You have to look at other aspects in terms of opportunities and through taxation to address. But I think that the point is that the range of issues are complex. The expectations are changing, and as Diane said, the expanded capacity capabilities, are changed. So it's not enough to say everyone has an education or gets a chance to go to school. We are now talking about, of course, higher education, wherever that education is and the opportunities that it's going to afford. So this and what we expect to do, and I have to say that you're one of the very first that we were discussing this with, but the expectation is to, with our partners locally, predominantly government, have a discussion around what this kind of report means and how it can help support addressing policy in countries such as Belize.
And of course, because this is under the UNDP, and said, international. We're looking at information sort of from an international perspective. Are we also looking at sort of the factors that are driven by, also sort of global policy? I mean, especially in relation to something like climate change. Is the information that we're looking at also looked at in that context as well, and especially charting the way forward?
Absolutely. I think, as you know, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, I think, is going on right now in Spain. But absolutely, climate change is actually identified as one of the key issues looking forward. So even as you look at addressing inequalities now, issues of climate change and also new technologies are things that could reinforce the impact of inequality. As you know, in the Caribbean, we've gone through a series of events recently with very uncharacteristic hazard events. We look around the world, we see wildfires that are unable to be put into control in countries like Australia and in places like California. We see excessive flooding and so forth. Those things have impacts, but what it's also seeing is that inequalities also occur within countries. So even within those very high developed countries, you see stratification in terms of what is achieved. And impacts like climate change have a disproportionate, are disproportionately felt by those, not just countries like Belize and us in the Caribbean, but also in those, in the communities in those respective countries.
Yeah. You know, when the data is put together and the report is produced, Belize then, if it was a report card, did very well. We passed. We are now a high developed country.
Okay.
For the students in the classroom, we didn't believe we'd get that grade. And I wanted to talk about that, specifically looking at the poverty index, because it's critical for us to understand that where oftentimes the numbers, when we add up the total sum, may paint one picture, but when you look at the disparity, just here, you know, my life was different from Gavin's life, or a life was different from someone in Cayo. Their life is significantly different from someone in Criqui Sarco in Toledo. Right. And so when we look at what can be accessed in different parts of the country based on gender and even based on who your parents are, because you spoke of what you are entitled to by birth, it's a very different picture from the A+, well, I'll say A, that we got on the report card.
Look, go ahead.
I wouldn't quite put us at A, but yes,
I know,
we're passing, and you're right. But it's why the report stresses the point of looking beyond the averages.
Yes.
Because it is the averages that bring you then to that passing grade.
Yeah.
And it also then brings up an earlier point made by Ian as it relates to change the method of measurements. And the metrics involved, the idea of moving towards measuring multidimensional poverty rather than just the income rate that we're doing. So as we change, which is why and you said it, and I think we need to reiterate that point. This report is not a beating stick. To say you are, for any political party to say you're failing on this, and because none of these things change overnight. Yes. It's an accumulation over years, so it's an accumulation over government. And so whatsoever advance that we are seeing here, some foundation was set at some point, and we slowly build on that foundation to where, and we advance slowly to it. So as we change the way we measure, and as we start to tease out the finer details, the more granulated data in all of it, it does, and you do see a different picture. Yeah. And so it brings up the discussion on data for development. What are those things that driving our decision-making process? Yeah. And how really are we looking at the numbers? Because if we continue to look at the numbers through averages, it paints, and so the pupils will continue to be relatively shocked when the report card comes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that actually brings up something like interesting that I had wanted to ask about. Because we don't just, the report doesn't just talk about inequality in terms of just statistics and, you know, so-called objective things. It also talks about perceived inequality, which is something which really touches on, you know, how people are sort of feeling the effects then of all of these other factors that are at play. So I was sort of wondering, or maybe you could tell our viewers, you know, how exactly, or how that perceived inequality and things are measured in the context of a report like this.
I think in the report, and around this report, it speaks also to the civic unrest you see around the world. And if you think of some of the countries where that civic unrest exists, some of them are not poor countries. Some of them are quite wealthy and developed countries that we kind of point the finger at and say, well, those are countries that, you know, maybe we need to see how we can get towards that. And so it speaks to that issue of perception, so that inequality is not just a function of income, but it's also a function of basic human rights. It's a function of being able to have the right of expression and the right of engagement in terms of the political process. Simply the right to vote may not, certainly is not, it's a watershed moment for us, but that alone is not enough. So you make mention of women in government. So yes, we have universal suffrage now, everyone can vote, but that doesn't necessarily seem to be reflected in the representation we see around the world and in different countries. So the perception certainly is an issue that is illustrated there in terms of what we see flaring up around the world.
And it's a measure of discontent.
Yes.
So the numbers might say something, but when our unions, our teachers' union go out and we have our rallies and the discussion. I woke up to discussion on anti-corruption and things. The measure, the true measure, and what the report tries to tease out is exactly that. That while the numbers are slowly turning, there's this Caribbean thing that say, "Who feels it knows," and so that is that is a real measure of the inequalities.
Sure.
Because is it also perhaps a shift in priorities too? Because I would venture to say that oftentimes in conversations with people, having equality and seeing, even if we go back to the anti-corruption conversation, seeing that the playing field is equal for all is more important to people now than perhaps it was in the 90s, where with technology or television or even instant access to information, it wasn't as prioritized before.
No, go ahead.
And you're right. As the population becomes more informed, and the population, and a lot contributes to that, and of course, yes, technology contributes significantly to that. There is and populations are starting to push back, to force, and it speaks to the fifth finding that Ian pointed out, that you want to act now before the inequalities become formalized within, and it becomes a norm. A long time ago, and I have to say a long time ago, but growing up in Belize, so it's a long time ago, you had a common statement as to we had first Belizean families, and growing up within this the society, you had definite, and the first families changed depending on who was in political powers and things. Slowly but surely, people are starting to push back on that idea that you should have first and second and things. And so the information, yes, hopefully, and that's the idea of the report. The report is not to spunk anybody, but to start the discussions internally that these things are there, and people should be talking about it.
I say time and time again on the show, we got to look in the mirror, even if we don't like what we see, because that's where we start. And you know, we spoke of quite a number of the indicators that this report shows, but I wanted to kind of just get a summary. If you look at where we've made the most significant progress, not necessarily in numbers, but in how it impacts human life, what would you say that is?
So generally, or?
Generally, for Belize,
I don't know Belize as well as the three of you, of course, but I would think in terms of the health and you know, issues of child mortality and in terms of longevity and so forth. So in terms of basic health,
So people are living longer, babies aren't dying, and mothers aren't dying giving birth.
yes, it's one. Education is probably demonstrated to be that, and there has been growth in income. But I would think the first two would have seen the biggest change and improvement. But certainly there has been, and you look at, I mean, I know it's a lot of information to dive into. That's why I think, if sometime after Christmas you're tired and you think, what can I, take a dive into it. But certainly there's a lot there to see, and it clearly illustrates that there is real growth, but that we can't be satisfied with those initial basic areas that were our focus, and rightly so, before the demand and the expectation is higher.
Which is why we'll take it a step further and say, from what has been identified in the report, what are some of the critical areas that, that last point I think really stays with me, that we gotta do something now. Otherwise it'll become systemic, the kind of inequality that we're seeing. What are some of the critical red flag areas that you have seen in the report? This is data driven, that perhaps need to be prioritized in the now or near future.
I think one key one clearly, and it's across the world, is the disproportionate income and control of resources and assets, where a very, very small percentage of the population, even in very high developed countries, control a disproportionate amount of that income. And that is what would trigger the reinforcement and indeed of the political power. And that in itself would somehow inhibit addressing the needs of those further down the ladder. And in fact, it's even said in there that the middle class pay a disproportionate amount of services. So I think the whole issue of access to and opportunities around economic assets must be one critical area as influence here, because that is the point, the ending point of this, the point that we need to step off on. That's my take. Diana, I'm sure you.
My
So you start with the positives.
Yes, no.
Where are we with progress?
We continue to stay on the positive, actually, because it is something that has been growing in our discussions. We cannot discount the effects of climate change and what climate change means to our development. And because of the expected huge influence that we expect on our productive sectors, even on our lives, in terms of our healthy lifestyles and things. It is
like
one of those.
Forget the hot summer we had, right? And drought.
And drought. And we look at our farmers, and it was primarily, while everybody felt the droughts, you had some of our population that were more vulnerable because of greater exposure. And again, these are the people on our margins, or people in terms of the lower brackets of income. So for me, that continues to be, or should continue to be, a priority discussion as we do our development planning. Because Belize is extremely vulnerable. And what this report is saying is that if we don't take that into consideration, it will start to force new inequalities as people, again, continue to be disenfranchised and marginalized by something that, and Gavin alluded to, that we have very little control over as a country. So while we cannot control how it changes, we need to start to pay attention as to how we consider it as we move forward.
All right. The report was officially released yesterday, and it is accessible online. You also have printed copies, so if anybody wants to see it, I'm sure they can contact your office. But we thank you for coming in and really kind of just setting the backdrop and providing a bit of an overview of what the report entails. It is a lot more detailed than our conversation could get into today, but we do appreciate the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, it will be for a vegan recipe of rum popo. So stay tuned.
Belize Bank's Christmas Flexi Loan
are welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are shifting gears a little bit to talk about of what I'm sure is a favorite Christmas treat for a lot of Belize, and that is Rompopo. And discussing that this morning is the owner of Kojak's sumptuous Rompopo.
You know, that's a good Belizean way of doing it. When you say it 2 times,
Of
it means
course.
it's really good.
Yes. So yeah, we've got Kojak Smith with us here to tell us all about his delicious recipes. So good morning and
Yes.
thanks for joining us.
Good morning, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. It's my 3rd time on the show, so I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to share the different recipes of the Christmas season.
And we appreciate getting the chance to try it too.
No problem at all.
Absolutely. And you really threw a curveball at us this time, because I have been trying to figure out since I found out that you were coming, how does one make a vegan Rompopo? Rompopo is milk, sweet milk, condensed milk, eggs, and rum and spices. So we were joking that you're just gonna serve us spiced rum and say, here's your vegan Rompopo.
Actually, we took some time to create the recipe.
Yeah.
And we included substitute no soy, no dairy.
Okay.
Also no eggs. And
Okay.
it's gluten-free as well.
Wow.
And it tastes good?
Well, you guys will be the taste testers.
Okay, I guess so.
We've had feedback from people already because we actually started the season. Our season started from October.
Okay then.
Yeah. So we've had feedback on the vegan Rompopo, and we're also going to display today the pumpkin spice Rompopo as well.
Oh, that's what I'm smelling.
Yeah. So we have
In here,
two
sounds
different lines this year, and we still have the regular as well.
Okay. All right, so we gotta get started. I am
So which do you want to
intrigued.
start on?
You choose.
Let's do pumpkin spice and then we'll
And
get
leave the
in.
big finale.
Yeah, I know, right?
No problem.
Save the best for last.
All right, so pumpkin spice, definitely a trending flavor that people like around this time of year. And so you're gonna make a Rompopo pumpkin spice.
Yes.
All right.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit of local flair along with the international.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So first we'll add the eggs.
So Kojak, are you gonna share any more secrets with us this year?
A little bit.
Okay, good.
Very little. A little bit more than last year. I got some comments from friends and telling me that I didn't share anything at all.
Which is why he says go buy Kojak Sumptuous.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
exactly,
why
right?
go through the trouble of making it yourself when you could just buy it already prepped? All right, then we'll add dark rum.
Okay. Does the order matter as to how you put it in the blender?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just really by preference.
Right. Start your morning right.
Yeah.
Start your morning tipsy.
Don't worry, it'll be hidden properly.
Okay, got you.
All right. Then we'll add the pumpkin mix.
So what is that? Just spiced pumpkin?
Just a pumpkin mix that you could buy at the store. pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah.
So give it that pumpkin flavor.
Yeah, you add to taste how much you want.
And you find that like this flavor is popular so
Yeah,
far?
it's catching on. I have people that kind of switch completely from the regular to just pumpkin spice,
Oh wow.
Right.
which was kind of strange, but I'll take it anyway it comes.
As long as they're buying the product, right?
So now we'll add the spices.
Oh.
Is that your secret blend?
Now you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so generally it usually is cinnamon and nutmeg, right?
The pumpkin spice does carry cloves as well.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And then,
And we'll add the milks.
so this is typically how a Rompopo is done, minus the pumpkin and the pumpkin spice. Ooh, that looks good
That's
just
looking-
like that, right?
Yep.
You know what? Why Rompopo is great? I mean, I'm a big dessert lover.
Me too.
And so basically, it's like drinking a dessert.
Exactly. To be honest, the pumpkin spice, if you like pumpkin pie, it's very similar to that.
No, so it's like drinking a pumpkin
Yeah,
pie. Great.
basically, yeah.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
So what other flavors do you have for this year?
It's just these three
Okay.
along with the regular one.
So we're doing, we got the vegan,
here.
we got, let's see.
This one is looks like original. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We'll put them back up for display. Okay, go ahead, yeah. All right.
Guess I made a little too much.
No, that's not true.
It's never too much.
Do you see the size of this crew that woke up for this segment?
All right, that's pretty much it. Let me get you guys a glass.
All right. So that's it.
That's
We
it.
did a
Wow.
pumpkin spice rum popo. And I know you're a big pumpkin spice lover, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you'll be able to judge accordingly.
If the ice would cooperate, we can get the glasses ready.
So Kojak, you said you started making rum popo back in October?
Yes.
Wasn't
from
that a bit early?
It's never too early for rum popo, actually.
So people were like feeling the spirit from way back then, true?
Yep. Actually, I have people, I have customers that call me throughout the course of the year.
Uh-huh.
And if they have an event coming up or something, they would ask me to make a couple bottles for them.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've made rum popo in February, June, July.
That's true. I mean, why do you have to only
have to
drink
wait,
it
yeah.
at Christmas? Especially
Exactly.
if you're a big fan.
Exactly.
All right. So we got our first pumpkin
All
spice,
right, that looks good. Smells
not
good.
latte, rum popo.
And we're
You
ready.
want a glass?
Sure. But I am most excited to see the next recipe. So if you're just
then.
joining us,
Cheers.
Kojak from Kojak Sumptuous Rum Popo made us some pumpkin spice rum
Pumpkin
popo.
spice rum popo.
One of his new flavors of rum popo.
That's good. That really, it does taste like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flavors, the spices.
Yeah.
And you know, it's nice like rum popo, but it does taste different. I can understand why someone will shift from rum popo
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just this. Okay,
So you like it, right?
I do.
I'm just making sure that everyone hears it clearly that she does like it.
And I'm
this
gonna
is
stop
great.
because I saw how much rum you put in. All right,
You don't taste the rum though, right?
I
No,
don't
actually
taste
don't.
it, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you won't feel it. All right, so
right.
now is really the interesting
Yeah,
part
this is
of
what
this
I'm really
recipe.
curious
Shifting
about.
gears.
So a lot of people are trying to be more health conscious. Some people have given up animal products entirely.
Some people have allergies, some they're lactose intolerant or something.
So you've never really been able to enjoy rum popo. Well, Kojak has found the solution for that
Yes, I have.
by creating a vegan rum popo. And some of the magic is happening here already.
Yeah.
Okay, are you gonna tell us what you're substituting with?
Yes.
First of all, how do you substitute eggs?
The thing is just to get the consistency of the eggs.
Okay.
So we substitute it with flaxseed.
Okay.
Ah, okay. That's really good. So flaxseed actually has a lot of omega,
Yes.
3.
And it's very healthy as well.
It is extremely healthy, yeah.
Okay. So we'll start out with the
Good
flaxseed.
proteins going in there. All right, so we got flaxseed, and you just used the ground one, and you added some water?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to tell everyone exactly what I do.
Sorry.
All right.
Don't worry, they wouldn't have mastered the right amount as yet.
All right. So we'll add the alcohol, dark
All
rum.
right, dark rum. So did somebody request a vegan recipe from you, or you just decided you wanted to venture and try something new?
Actually, it's something we've been working on for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and we decided that this year let's try it. And actually had someone requested it,
Mm-hmm.
and when they requested the vegan because they don't eat eggs and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I said this year let's really do it. And
I mean, you just didn't tell them, listen, that you've given up certain things with this lifestyle. Rum popo has to be one of them. It's egg and milk.
no. We try to be customer friendly and help make sure everyone gets a little sample of the Christmas holiday treat.
All right, so this means you did quite a bit of trial recipes before.
Yes,
Right?
I
Was it very difficult to find out the right equations for everything?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't that difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to be modest.
Okay.
This is a rum popo man, right? So
I know,
he
right?
doesn't-
We'll add the spices.
Okay. That's Kojak's secret spice blend, but traditionally rum popo has cinnamon, nutmeg, and what else?
It just depends on what you want to add in there. Allspice as well.
Okay. All right. So we started off with some flax seeds, and we
Spices,
added the spices and the
alcohol.
rum.
Now we'll add the vegan condensed milk.
There's vegan
Wow, I
condensed
didn't even
milk?
know that
Yes,
existed.
I didn't even know that.
Took some time finding my recipe, my ingredients, but yeah, there is.
So this is a secret. This is a Kojak blend of
Wait, did you
secret.
make the vegan
Secret.
condensed milk, or this is like
I'm not that
legit?
good. I'm not that
Okay.
good. But it's vegan condensed milk.
Okay. You know, going vegan doesn't sound as hard
know,
anymore
right?
if you could get condensed milk.
There's a lot of substitute, especially when people are baking.
Uh-huh.
They need the condensed milk to make sure that it comes out how they want it to come out with the same consistency. So there is a vegan.
I was gonna
condensed
say you
milk.
could have lemon meringue pie, but then
Yeah,
how
that's
would
what
you
I
make meringue?
Yeah.
Oh, there is a vegan way of doing that.
Yes. You
I
have
gotta
to
taste
substitute.
this.
Just taste it. You don't have to reveal exactly what you taste.
Oh,
It's
but
good,
it
right?
tastes
It's
good.
good, right? Yeah.
Let me try some.
Oh, Gavin,
Let me try.
that's better than condensed milk.
That is not. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, vegan condensed milk.
Yeah. And then
I'd
we,
do that again.
Then we add nut milk.
Nut milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you specific about your type of nut milk?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
But for
Because he's very clear in saying nut milk.
for this purpose, we'll just say nut milk.
Okay, but you could buy almond milk anywhere
Yeah,
if
you
you want to use almond milk.
Or you could buy the cashew milk as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Giving some secrets away.
No, we don't know which one you use. You could do macadamia milk. You could
Yeah.
do, I don't know what else.
I was waiting for you to go on.
Peanut milk.
Yep. All right.
right.
Let's see what happens.
And there you have it. Blending it all up for something I have never seen
Or
before.
thought about. I
Yeah.
shouldn't even say heard of.
Vegan rum popo.
Yep.
So Kojak, do you have a preference as to regular rum popo or vegan rum popo?
Putting me on the spot.
Uh-huh.
My personal preference is the eggnog.
What's it? Isn't eggnog rum
It's just
popo?
without rum. It's just without the rum.
Oh, okay. So you go for alcohol free, which means your flavor has to be really good.
Yeah. You have to really could tell what's
Yeah.
exactly is in each.
So you do make eggnog for people as
Yes,
well?
I do make eggnog. We do the eggnog we do the vegan eggless nog. We do the regular eggnog, and we do the pumpkin spice eggnog.
You should just call it no eggnog.
Or just nog.
I was gonna say nog.
nog, just
We have
nog.
titled your product and we will collect on royalties.
Yes, we'll copyright it. We'll copyright it.
He also sells nog. All right, so again, you got eggnog, you have the eggless eggnog, you have rum popo, vegan rum popo,
Pumpkin spice rum
pumpkin
popo.
spice
Pumpkin
rum
spice rum
popo. What
There's
else?
5 flavors.
What other flavors
much
do you
is-
have?
The regular rum popo, the eggnog, the regular eggnog, the pumpkin spice eggnog, the pumpkin spice rum popo, and the vegan eggnog, the vegan eggless nog, and the vegan rum popo. So it's 6, sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Grand
I'm
finale.
super
just
excited, I'm
stir it properly.
So here we go. Now it is a different color.
Yes, it
we
is.
have to
That's
say
it.
that much. And I saw it from here.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just a little bit darker. Consistency wise, close
Almost
enough, but
the
a
same.
little bit more liquid.
As close as possible, yeah.
Yeah.
So taste.
That's right.
And
Bottoms up.
okay.
It's good. It is.
That's nice.
And it's, oh yeah, it does, and it tastes pretty similar to the original.
Close as possible as I
Yeah.
could get with the
Yeah.
vegan.
It's actually a little bit sweeter than regular rum popo.
Definitely tastes like rum popo. Nice. I would definitely
I
drink
would
this.
never have known.
Appreciate it.
If you'd served this to me, I would have never known this was vegan.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're going for.
Okay.
This is great.
Well,
So-
there you have it, right? Just when you thought that you'd have to give up rum popo because you
You don't-
shifted to a vegan
you don't,
lifestyle,
you don't,
Kojak made sure your Christmas is still the same.
Everyone can enjoy the treat. Always.
All right, so where can people place their orders?
They could hit us on our Facebook page. It's the same name, Kojak Sumptuous Rompopo.
And that's COJAC.
Apostrophe S, Sumptuous. And they could call me or WhatsApp me at 632-2622, as well as you could just text or call. It's $22 for the regular Rompopo and the regular eggnog. The pumpkin spice is $24 for Rompopo or eggnog, and the vegan is $35.
Okay.
Yeah, and $3 for delivery, or you can pick up.
Oh.
Just call for directions.
There you have it. And you also have gift bottles available? Is this what I'm seeing here?
Let me see.
Yeah? You did?
No, actually, this is for you guys.
You're
This is
set designer.
This is for Channel 5.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
this is beautiful. The bottle is beautiful.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
So
coming
you guys
in.
have a special bottle for the staff.
And we'll have them guess what the flavor is.
Yes.
All right, and so we wanted to say thank you for coming in and
Thanks
for
for
being
having
so
me.
creative with your recipe. We've got the pumpkin spice Rompopo as well
That's
as
the vegan. And it was both of them were really nice. Did you have a favorite, Marlene, out of the two we tried?
I'm just still stuck on the fact that I would have never known that was vegan Rompopo had
I
you
know.
served it to me.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, so
That's exactly what we're going for. And we're happy that customers seem to be taking well to all the products and making sure that I have a steady flow of work in the evening. So other than that, I'm thankful for all my customers that support me from day one.
yeah. All right, so find Kojak's Sumptuous Rompopo on Facebook, or you can get in touch with him and find out how you can get your bottle.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna go ahead and take that break. When we come back, we've told you how to make your Rompopo. Now we're gonna help you find those gifts. We have our friends from Quartz coming in with some gift ideas. That's coming up after the break.
Signing up for Smart's broadband
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Shifting gears a little bit to now talk about some fun gift ideas that you can get from your for your friends and family this season. Joining us now are representatives from Quartz, and we have with us Andrea Flowers, who's the assistant store manager for Quartz, and also Maria Serron, who is the optometrist from Quartz Optical. Good morning, ladies, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having us again.
Thank you for having us.
So it's that time of year again when everybody's looking out for gifts to buy, and we've got a whole bunch of exciting things here to talk about.
Yes.
So what can we find at Quartz this season?
Well, this is just a sample of what we have, just a few gift ideas, as you mentioned. But for now, what we have going on in store is, and I'm sure if you haven't seen this as yet, it's in circulation right now on the market. It's our Quartz actual promotion that is going on.
Okay.
And inside this, what you will find are amazing gift ideas. It has a list of our Radio Shack, homeware, appliances, furnitures, beddings, everything, just about everything in this little brochure right here. So if you haven't seen it as yet, I recommend you take a walk into the store, and the minute you walk in, we'll grace you with one of these. Also, what we have going on is a 3-day sale. It's called the Holly Jolly. It's the Holly Jolly deals that we have going on right now in store. Also, we want you to come in. We have up to 25% off on all toys. I'm not sure if you guys know that we have a toy area.
Oh, you have a toy
also.
section?
Yes.
No,
We
I
have a
didn't know
toy
that.
section, consists of My Little Pony, building blocks, robots, the deal. Like I said, what we have, it's our toy section. We also have our homeware section where we have dishware, pots, pans. We want you to come on in.
Yeah.
We have up to 25% off on the toys. We also have 10% off cash sales, and that's for 3 days only, and that's starting today to December 12th. We also have 15% off Simmons mattresses. So again, it gets better. We want you guys to come in. There's a whole lot of deals going on for the next 3 days.
So how have things been so far? I mean, have you seen the big Christmas rush, or you're anticipating that this weekend?
Actually, the entire month of November was a rush for us, and December started off with the same energy. We have our extended hours have already been implemented. We're open from Monday to Saturday, and that's from 8 to 6.
Okay.
And we're in stores sometimes till 7 because we have shoppers, the last minute shoppers, you get off work, then we quickly go get something. So we go till 6, yes, but as long as there are customers in the store.
Once you're in the door before
Once
6.
you're in, you could shop until you drop. That's no problem.
And what seem to be the big gift items for this year? What are people really getting in there and saying, I'm looking for this, or I must get my loved one that?
A lot of, I would say, families, they're upgrading. I would say they're upgrading their lifestyle, whether they want
new TVs,
new TV, and of course a new entertainment unit to go with that new TV, or a new stove with a matching fridge, sofas with matching entertainment center and TV. So a lot of people have been upgrading their lifestyle per se. They come in and I don't really need it, but I think I want to. Type of thing. And it has that, like I said, it has been like that from November right up until now.
So now I'd imagine they'd get into the gift buying.
The gift buying. Okay, when it comes to the gifts, like I said, we have a homeware area that we just recently opened in November, and a lot of people are flocking there.
And so that's like your pots and pans and baking stuff.
And plates.
Nice.
We have dishware. It's just about everything in their kettles. Everything is just right there, and it could match everything. You could get the matching plate set with the glass. You could get the matching dinnerware. Everything is just right there in that one area. And then we also got in accessories, home accessories still. We have an area that consists of home accessories also. So and a lot of people.
What do you mean by home accessories?
Like what you guys have here. Little centerpieces. Vase, a couple lamps, things like that, home, like wall decor, stuff like that.
Oh, so people can still go in and get all the little things that they need to fix up for Christmas.
Yes.
Your
and-
curtains too, you know that's a hot item.
No, we haven't touched that department yet, but the way things are moving, you never know.
But one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that you have a Radio Shack outlet.
Yes.
I mean, I don't. Is that what you call it, or a Radio Shack section in your
It's
store?
part of the section. The minute you walk into the store, it's a Radio Shack. It consists of games, you know, for the kids. Right now, the
Yeah.
big thing right now is gaming. You know, we have an area that is dedicated just for the gamers, where
Okay.
you could get your gaming mouse pad, your gaming headphones, the gaming mouse, even the gaming chair. We have a chair that is dedicated just for gamers. Nice, comfortable. You sit in there, and you know they will burn game all day.
And
These young
here's just a
people.
little bit of information. It's not just kids that are into gaming.
Well, it's true. It's true. Adults too. So
Yeah.
the chairs are very comfortable from any age up. Just to say, but like what we have here right now, we have for the more gift ideas, a smaller.
Okay.
We have right now we have up to $400 off on the S10. We also have the
$400?
Yes, we have the S9. I didn't bring a S10, but we have those in store also. We also have the A10. We have the Radio Shack, you know, the watches.
Yeah.
Is that a smartwatch?
Smartwatch,
Yeah?
correct. And we have a larger selection of phones starting from $599 and up. And right now we have special also on the phones. Like I said, you could save up to $400 on selected phones.
So the phones are 15% off?
No.
Oh, okay.
These are just some of the
Sorry.
discounts that we have
like-
going on. But there is savings on phones. We have, like
Okay.
I said, up to $400 off on selected phones.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we want you to come in and check it out. And just about everything in this area right now have a savings of $50 and up.
Okay.
All right. Also, in that area, well, just to add to that, these can also be purchased on our Easy Finance plan.
Yeah.
You could get it up to 24 months.
And that's one of the big appeals that people have in shopping at Courts.
Yes.
It's just that they can be able to get the items they're looking for and paying it back at a rate that they can afford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and as you know, in order to purchase on our Easy Finance plan or credit, as most people will know it as, all you need is a valid Social Security or your passport,
Yeah.
a valid utility bill, and also your proof of income, which will be your job letter.
Okay.
And you come on in with those, you walk right into the store, and we could easily put you on a payment plan that can suit your budget.
Okay. All right.
And also for the next 3 days, we also have promotions on our credit line. So just to add to that, we have 10% off on our 6 to 24 months account, so you get a 10%. And then we have 20% off if you book an account from 30 to 36 months. And like I said, the phones, you could put these on our easy payment plan. Anything, just about anything in the store, you can
Yeah.
put on easy payment plan from 0 to 6 months, or 6 to 18 months, 18 to 24 months, 24 to 30 months, 30 to 36 months.
Okay.
Those are the different plans that we have.
What's the
And
most
right now-
popular one?
30 to 36.
Okay, so people take a longer time.
Yes, because then it's a smaller monthly.
Payment, yeah.
Yes. And
But you can do as short as
you
6
could
months.
do a shorter 6 months, and you could have it approved. And it
Yeah.
takes 24 to 48 hours for our first-time customers.
Okay.
And it's been very busy, so we ask for patience
Yeah.
when booking these accounts, because it's a process.
Yeah. And you have to do all your validation and whatnot.
Exactly.
But people can be able to get some of the gift items that they're looking for, or even the home improvement items, and get them
Exactly.
on the Easy Finance
Easy
plan.
financing plan, correct.
And also the items from Courts Optical, right?
Yes.
So last time you were showing some of the fashionable items. This time we come with just one brand. This is the Converse line.
This is the latest collection from Converse. We just received this. So we have not also frames, like ophthalmic frames to put
Yeah.
your prescription. We have also sunglasses, which is a perfect gift for
Yeah,
these days,
sunglasses
right?
are good.
And that it's, if you see, it's a very trendy right now. It's very focused on young people, right? You see colors, you see this. Yes, I love those. It's very trendy, it's very fashionable.
There you go.
And it's a very, very affordable price.
Oh, I like those.
Do you like
Yeah.
these?
Yes.
Whoever wants to buy
those.
Marlene a Christmas gift.
I
So
know.
there you go. You have your Christmas
This
gift
is
right
nice.
there. Yes.
Yeah. So you have sunglasses, and you can, as you've said the last time, you could get the sunglasses with prescription.
Exactly, you can, definitely, you can. We also have, just a reminder, we have also the transitions lenses, which is the full UV protection. It will protect you from developing cataracts, pterygium, skin cancer around the eye, because it's a full sunscreen for your eyes, right? And we both use it. I can show you.
Yeah.
We have that too. Like we have this little
The blue light?
The blue light too. We have this UV. I brought up UV lens so you can just see how the lens can go
You'll have
dark.
to move it in front of you so we can see.
Yeah, right here. This is a sample of the lenses. We have the latest transitions.
Let's shift it towards this one.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Oh, it didn't get that dark, right? But my one will get super dark.
I was going to take
Oh, you can take yours. Let's use Andrea's one.
They're all volunteering.
because you need
again.
yours to see.
Yeah, I need mine.
to see what you're doing.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm blind.
So what does it do? What is
This is a UV lamp. So this is kind of like the reaction they will get from the sun, right?
Okay.
So immediately the lens touches the sun, it will start to get dark.
Okay.
And then there's when you get that protection from that glare. So, and this is something that we have for long, and now we have the transitions, generation 8, which is darker, it changes faster, indoors and outdoors.
And how dark are we talking? We're talking
Well,
sunglasses.
that depends on how bright the day is.
Okay.
Like if it is a cloudy day, of course it will protect you a little bit, but if it's very sunny, it will get very dark. That depends.
Like a sunglass.
Like a sunglasses. Also, I wanted to touch base on the promotions that we have for this month. We have our Chic and Fab, which is 25% off on frames. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for an upgrade.
Yeah. So you can get 25% off on frames if you purchase cash. That's our Chic and Fab promo this month. We have also the 50% off.
You break it, you buy it.
Yeah. 50% off on frames if you purchase credit. Don't worry about it.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So
it's just angle the better for me.
Yeah.
So if I pay cash, I get, what's the percentage off?
25% off on your frame.
Wow.
And if you purchase credit, you get 50% off. On your 50, yes, you heard it right. 50% off on your frame.
Okay.
That's one of the promotions.
But not the lenses, the frame.
The frame, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can find an expensive frame and you get 50% off if you purchase credit.
Okay.
Right. The next promotion that we have is the Toscana BOGO, which means that this is another promotion that you cannot
use both.
You have either or. The other one is you purchase full dispensing, your frame, your lens, and you get to free a Toscana frame. And this is ideal for people like me that relies on glasses that needs an extra pair, right? Because you always need a spare. Because what happens if your glasses get broken or you lost them or something happened to them? You still need to get that extra pair just in case, right? An emergency.
So you're not blind for a day or two.
For days. Or what if you need to order your glasses? What if they order? You have to wait, a week, 2 weeks? So yeah, that free frame will be for your spare, right? You could use it
free.
as free.
Like the lens, the frame,
No,
everything.
just the frame.
Okay,
just the frame. Just the frame is free.
Okay.
But that specific brand, Toscana. And we also starting our 12 days of Christmas, which starts this Wednesday, the 11th. And that is that you get into a raffle of the Radio Shack products. So we have some up here, but there's a lot of them like speakers, headphones, just like Andrea said.
Yeah.
And that is, you can get into that raffle and you can win any
What
of those.
are you going to win?
Well,
just Radio Shack products.
Radio Shack products.
That means electronics. That means smartwatches, the Bluetooth speakers, the headphones.
The headphones, correct.
Exactly. So here we go. You see, this is.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Looks like almost like a sunglasses.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then it clears right up after a while.
Yeah, see? And you get that protected. Yes. So this is.
So you don't have to be carrying around.
Or just switching
up. Yeah, it's more practical that way. And we also want to announce from our last
What if you just want to
month.
look cool in studio, you know? You're
Yeah,
like, you're
just
that-
sitting
you're
here
that.
like I'm on the beach or something.
Right.
You know, celebrities wear shades on
set,
television.
right?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, the next exciting thing that I want to announce is our winners from our last month promotion, Stylicious, which you got into a raffle to get a chance to win $600, one per each store. So I have the winners today, and I can announce them.
I know.
And it's me. No.
Did you enter?
Did you? Yeah. So if I may.
Okay, let's find out. We like announcing winners.
Let's
Somebody's
see.
going to be jumping for joy.
Yeah. So
Somebody's gonna get some cash for Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? $600 cash. So for Belize City, we have Jacinta Gomez. So Miss Jacinta, if you're looking,
Jacinta, we know
Or some-
her.
Yeah,
You
you
just
do?
won yourself
$100.
$600.
Yes.
Congrats.
Come on down to court.
Yes, you can.
You're buying us a drink later.
And for Belmopan, hi to all my people of Belmopan. Belmopan, Franklin Banner.
Franklin Banner.
That's
all right.
our winner from Belmopan
Belmopan.
store. So see, in both locations, we have an each winner. So you can get also onto both stores just to visit us to see the new collection, right?
Yeah.
To get advantage of these new promos that we have, which are good,
Yeah.
right? Because 25% cash, 50%
50% off,
credit.
yeah.
So you can get your new glasses, new year, new glasses, right?
New style, new
style.
look, new
and
you.
everything's trendy, fashionable, as you like, right?
And you can even get designer sunglasses.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
You can do them on the financing plan, and you have the blue light, you have
You
the
have the blue
transition lens,
light,
you
yeah.
have the digital lens. Yeah, and you can get the tests done there
Yeah, the
as
test
well.
is always with no cost. That's part of our service, and all of the complementary tests that we do, the glaucoma test, cataracts, everything. Sugar, we do sugar tests and pressure.
Okay.
So everything is there and it's complimentary. You don't have to pay for that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of our service.
Nice.
So you can get advantage of that too.
All right, so the new opening hours have started at Quartz. Does that also include Quartz Optical?
Yes, only Saturdays we close at 3.
Okay. So people can head out, they can check out what's happening with the home accessories. They can check, of course, all the products they're accustomed to seeing at Quartz. Radio Shack for the electronics, Quartz Optical for frames and glasses, and sunshades, and I mean, I don't know, what else are you guys offering?
Cash.
Cash!
But that's another segment.
I know.
See how clear they are right
I
now?
know.
Because
See?
they haven't been exposed.
Back
So
to
they're
normal.
starting back to normal.
Yes, from superstar Andrea to normal
To
Andrea.
normal, yeah. Let's get back to basic, right?
And is there, what's the major difference between the price points between a regular lens and maybe a transition?
Well, it's not that much, but that depends on your prescription mainly.
Okay.
So you will need to go and check your eyes, see the prescription that you need, and from there we can tell you. But it's not extremely great.
Yeah, it's not like a huge add-on.
But it's a great benefit that you will get because you're protecting your eyes from the sun. You can put sunscreen on your skin, but not in your eyes.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
that's the benefit of the transitions, and also the blue block. I brought the blue block again.
Yeah.
But
'cause
you
it's
have a white paper, so I can show
We
you.
have lots of white papers.
Let's see, a piece of that. Let me see. Because
All
last
right.
time I think I wasn't able to show it that good, right? But we have, so here,
So this is the blue block.
the blue block again, this is the normal anti-reflective coating. You can see the blue right there going through it, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the blue block. Now it shows, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so this is the difference. And this will protect you from that glare that comes from any device. So
From your phones, your
from your
computer,
phones,
your
computer,
television.
tablet, iPad, everything. And it will protect you from that strain at the end of the day.
That's right. And blue light can have actually very detrimental effects on your sleep.
Exactly.
So the less you take in during the day, the better you are sleeping at night. People didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And extended opening hours. Are you going to be open on Sundays soon, or
No, for
Okay.
right now, we're not opening on Sundays so far.
Okay.
It's just Mondays to Saturdays, and it's from 8 to 6, like I said earlier. And then also, we want you to come on down. Remember the 3 days promotion, the Holly Jolly deals. And that's for only 3 days starting today till the 12th. Come on down to the stores, 10% off cash purchases store-wide, up to 20% off on credit purchases up to 36 months. You know, come and take advantage of the deals. 25% off all toys, extended. That's until we're done, basically.
Nice.
So, and also up to 15% off our homewares also.
All right.
So we want you to come on down and check out all the deals we have going on right now.
All right, and don't forget, Quartz Optical also have their deals going on. Just head on over to Quartz and see how you can take advantage of these special discounts. Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate it. Hopefully, our viewers have been able to come up with a few ideas as to what they can give as gifts, making it a bit easier to get through the rest of the season. But thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, though.
We'll take that break. When we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.
Belize Bank's Christmas Flexi Loans
in your eyes, and wrapping up a lot of fun conversations that we had today.
Yeah. So, I mean, starting off with the first conversation with representatives of UNDP, the United Nations Development Program. Yesterday, they released their Human Development Report, and we got the executive summary, which is what we took a look at, and there's a lot of interesting information there. I think one of the things that we tried to be able to kind of understand and unpack a bit was the status of Belize being a highly developed country based on our indicators. That was really interesting to get into, but I really appreciate the way they dived into those numbers and how the metrics for the report is put together. So there's kind of the average, but then there's also looking at some of the subsections, looking at the difference between male and female, looking at where the inequalities exist. So while it may be a good overall indicator, what does it mean on an individual level? And I think that's where a lot of the information lies.
Yeah, I think it was a really interesting summary. So, if you do get the opportunity, you can read the reports. They are available online. Or, if you contact one of the members of the UNDP, contact their office, you can get it as well. Because the indicators that they use, it's really wide-ranging. And if you even just read sort of the summary, you understand that they're measuring inequality not just based on just numbers, let's say income, which of course is a huge, if not the biggest factor, but they also are looking at it in the context of what is sort of political and social inequalities that may exist, and sort of disparities that so it's not only that because you are of a lower income you're considered poor under one of their indexes, that you have less buying power. That also comes with other ramifications in terms of your political your political power, your access to education, your access to so many different social services. So it really is a comprehensive report, and it's really interesting when we think about how we can find solutions to problems that do face us.
And naturally, I'm really interested in looking at the gender disparities that do exist, because a lot of this information we're seeing are becoming priority issues beyond Belize. When you talk about inequality, especially in what women earn versus men, the data now shows 6,000 to 10,000. That's the difference that we're looking at. That's almost, a little bit more than half of what your male counterpart may be making. Looking at education, looking at unemployment and underemployment, which we gladly had that conversation with SIB with earlier this year. So we definitely encourage you, if you are interested in understanding more about the report, it is accessible online. Get a hold of it and start looking at what it's saying. And hopefully, because this is essentially why these reports are important, it becomes a tool for policymakers to really base their decisions based on priority areas where we're seeing things that need more work, need more effort, need more long-term planning and investing there.
I know. So we do want to thank the representatives from the UNDP for coming out and discussing that with us. We also want to thank our second guest, and that is Mr. Kojak Smith, who was providing us with some really, really interesting and, I should even say groundbreaking recipes for a favorite Christmas treat, that's rompopo. So we made vegan rompopo, which was definitely a first for me. And we also, and the pumpkin spice rompopo was a first as well, both delicious.
Yeah. I gotta say that vegan recipe was perhaps the most surprising element of the show. I was very skeptical, and contrary to what we were joking about, it's not just spiced rum, but it is absolutely delicious. And I think it's always great to see how people rise to the occasion of changing trends, I should say, because a lot more people I know are going to vegetarian or veganism, and so finding the right replacements to replicate the things you love is always going to be a challenge, and Kojak made it easier.
I know.
He didn't give us all the secrets, but he gave you the elements you needed to try it at home. And if you can't get it right, then just order one from him.
For sure. So yeah, you know how to contact him, whether it's through his Facebook or his phone number, which he left. you know, definitely go out and try it. If you are not making your own one and you're a big fan of Rompopo, as many of us are, and because especially it's that time of year, you do want to get it. And you can also give it as a gift, which is also really popular to do. But if that's not your type of gift giving as well, you can head down to Courts. Again, because they have a lot of great promotions and sales going on, wide range of different products. So, you know, of course, we want to thank Andrea and Maria for coming and speaking to us about all of the super interesting stuff they've got and the great gift ideas that they've got there, from their electronics to Quartz Optical, you know, household items.
That's right. Toys, gaming stuff, you know, I think a lot of the little gadgets that people are into, and those are always easy gifts. You can't go wrong with that. So those are all available there. They do have some discounts that are happening at this time. You can take advantage of those, and we'll keep on bringing you more gift ideas. We'll keep on getting you ready for the Christmas season. We're thankful for our friends from Quartz for coming in and sharing some of the suggestions based on what they have. And check them out. They open on Saturday, Monday to Saturday, from 8 till 6, and you can perhaps get something for your loved ones right there. But that's all the time we have. Before we go, though, we forgot our little birthday shout out. And we can't miss this one because this guy's definitely been a great partner to us this year. We are saying happy birthday to
Ozzy. Ozzy the Clown. It's Ozzy's birthday. So from all of us here at Open Your Eyes and Channel 5, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday, Ozzy.
All right, Ozzy, do enjoy, and that's from all of us. I'm trying to figure out. We got our cameraman in here trying to make the laugh like Ozzy. Can you do it?
I definitely can.
We should probably try to do the dance.
I know.
Oh, you can do the dance.
Yeah, but we're gonna save that for when he comes back.
All right, but that's it for us. Remember, if you want to contact us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. Drop me a line at marlene_oye@channel5belize.com. Find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ.
And on Instagram at OIE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart
open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.